For the cutter, Kuliza gets one to go.
Second and third now for Bedford. That's a line drive single. And Charlie Cariello now strikes out Ryan Stram.
Draws the double, re-dodges, beautiful, and scores. Stick quickly, Purnell drives righty, shoots, scores.
That is it. Bedford is your girls lacrosse champion. The Bulldogs are champs once again.
And welcome into Exeter High School. This is Bill Ball Stadium, Eustis Field for this evening's Division I semifinal lacrosse matchup between the Bedford Bulldogs and the Pinkerton Astros. I'm Corey Munster-Tiger for the BCTV crew. I have Jay Abendroth and Todd Koss in the booth with me this evening. We have 12 minutes on the board. We're ready for lacrosse action as the teams are meeting at midfield, ready to shake hands. Todd, what are you looking for in tonight's semifinal matchup?
Yeah, I'm just looking for a very competitive game. I think both teams are ready to go. We've waited here a little bit for the weather to clear out, so I'm excited to get going.
Jay, any thoughts, offense, defense, scheme-wise, anything that you've heard from your son and the team that they're working on this week in preparation for this game?
Yeah, all that's been kept pretty hush-hush. They don't want us talking heads talking about it, but I do expect a pretty physical game. It was the first go-around. Bedford kind of taking the edge there. Let's see if Pinkerton can rally and match Bedford's physicality.
We are underway. Possession has been called as Pinkerton wins the opening face-off. And they promptly turn it over as Zach Baker picked up the ground ball at midfield. Missed his pass down into the offensive end. Pass sails wide. Now Sheridan will pick it up for the Bulldogs and clear things out. Bulldogs came into this postseason with the number 1 seed. Handled Dover this past Saturday. 19-2 was the final score in that matchup. Pinkerton advanced past Merrimack with the 4 seed.
Looks like Pinkerton watched some film of Bedford on their clearing. They set up maybe 10 yards off the half line, not letting them get any of those fast breaks with their long poles, coming down and firing on the goalie.
And now the Bulldogs will settle things down into their half-field offense. 6-on-6 settled. Matthews, the prolific sophomore, fires it behind. Here's Purnell.
Yeah, and we see right away, it looks like a bit of a zone stringing in the middle from that short stick in Pinkerton.
And Sam Barrett feeds Helton right up top, and the Bulldogs get on the board quickly.
Probably not the right play on the zone for who was supposed to cover the top middle.
Yeah,
looked like you got a little left open there.
Yeah, those are the ones that'll frustrate a coach a bit when you get right into a game. It's what you've been practicing all week to match up with the strong middies of Bedford, and you give up an outside pretty open shot there from 12 yards.
Right.
Tough one to give up for your first goal.
And now winning the ensuing faceoff is Dylan Stingel. Shot goes wide. Backed up behind. Pinkerton will have possession with Gormandy. Now driving hard is Scala. Up top to Erickson. Quintiliani over to the other side, far sideline back to Gormandy, and they'll work it around the outside as they're probing this Bedford defense. Circle offense for the Pinkerton Astros as they start things out in their 6-on-6 settled situation.
Yeah, we see here with Bedford with those experienced long poles. Tristan Kerr was actually taking the wing and Brian Riccio down low. The fact that those two are interchangeable should be a pretty big advantage for Bedford moving into this game.
Pinkerton with a very deliberate approach here in their first offensive set. Gormandy back up top now. Down the wing was Erickson. Very settled approach. Burning some time off, looking for those opportunities. Now we get a couple of cuts through the middle.
Looks like they're looking maybe for a little two-man game, a little pick somewhere, maybe hoping for a switch, knowing that Bedford's got 3 very talented senior defenders. But it doesn't seem like they're getting it.
Yeah, I think part of it is as well, they're pretty spread out, so trying to set screens is tough. You can't catch a defender napping because the defender can see it for 5 or 6 steps because of the spread offense of Pinkerton.
This might be a very deliberate approach to wear out the defense. Again, this isn't the easiest thing to chase the ball all over your defensive half of the field.
And you have to wonder here too, Corey. Are they gonna tell them to keep it in a few minutes here, a few seconds here? They might. Pinkerton has not really made an effort to get towards the cage.
We are fortunate enough to have James Riley here in the box with us, head official of the New Hampshire High School, as well as a signer. Can give us some insights on the officials side of things, perhaps if there are rules, questions, etc. So looks like we'll get a go here from Quintiliani. Soden plays great defense, gets the ball on the carpet, but Quintiliani scoops up the loose ball, and they'll settle things down again. Ball pops out here. Kerr goes heavy, but the Astros keep possession. And there it is. That's the keep it in call. Cost good call, as you were expecting that. The Astros not making any concerted effort to drive towards the cage. The officials have the discretion to make that keep it in call, which means they need to keep it in the restraining box. That's inside the 30-yard line and inside those two wing alley lines as well. Now the ball is scrambling here, and Kahn comes up with a huge save early on. Ball pops out to Henryshawn. He'll go down that far sideline as the Bedford defense makes a great first stand on a long settled offensive possession for the Astros. Now looking inside, Purnell can't let one go. Matthews now will let it rip. Misses outside, backed up behind by Barrett.
Great defense there by Pinkerton on that. I don't know if we'll have a replay of it, but sliding over to get that, to stop that, I guess what would be a one-on-none. Broke down, had his hands in the right position, didn't let the attacker roll back, and was able to thwart an easy goal there.
Here's Helton again. He'll fire and score. No stick in his gloves. He said, why not? I'll pull from 12 yards, and he beats the Pinkerton Astros goalie's near side. And the Bulldogs go up 2-0. 7:08 left in the first quarter. The Bulldogs ahead by 2.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a little bit of a difference of style where Pinkerton satisfied with passing it around. We saw the stall warning. Bedford a little bit more aggressive there. Helton had his hands free, said why not? Took a rip and tested the goalie and beat him. So we'll see if that continues. I would love to see a little bit quicker on the Pinkerton side and Bedford keep driving hard and making sure shots are hitting the cage.
Well, from the Pinkerton side, Jay, they have a possession for 2 or 3 minutes where they don't pressure and they got to keep it in, which is not a shot clock. It just means you got to keep it in the box. And they immediately went into a one on 3. Guy drove into a triple team, which is probably not what they were hoping for. They didn't need to press. They just needed to keep it in the box.
Perkins' clearing pass was a little short. Henryshawn couldn't come up with it on their press ride. And the Pinkerton Astros get a break as that ground ball finds the stick of the Astros. Work things behind here. Now Gormandy from that left wing. The lefty looks to go ISO on J.J. Gaffney, the short stick midfielder. He'll bring him behind and look for an ISO. Sheridan's going to go early. Cut inside, they had him, but they missed the connection. And now the ball gets batted here by Henryshawn. Scoops up the ground ball, and he's racing down the near sideline. They have numbers. He's going to have a go, but it's stick side high on Perkins. Popcorn save for Perkins, and he looks to get things going the other direction. The Astros had numbers, but they'll settle things down. Matt Gormandy will pull things out on that left wing.
Just a little discombobulated on that break. While it was early offense, they might have had a number. I don't think it was worth the risk. And there you go, it paid off.
It does, as Adam Scala drives hard, beats Henryshawn to the inside. And there was a flag on the play, but I believe it's going to be waved off. Look, you see here a little hesitation move. And that was actually Cotnoir, not Henryshawn. Henryshawn came over, pushed from behind, but just a bit too late, and Adam Scala has the first goal for the Pinkerton Astros. 2-1 is your score, 5:30 left in the first quarter.
Yeah, as Todd, you were saying, a little bit discombobulated. Henryshawn did everything right, got down. to stop the goal. So 1 up on the board for Pinkerton.
We're going to push from behind here on the face-off, so the Astros will get possession. Here's Cody Santamassino. Shot saved by Kahn. Scala was looking to go 5-hole. Kahn comes up with his second save early on. Sheridan climbs the ladder on the far sideline. Dylan Soden now will trot into the offensive area for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Bedford's going to have to watch a little bit here. It's the excitement of the game, semifinals. Probably sensed a little bit of blood as Pinkerton was stalling, but you can get over aggressive and kill some of the momentum you had at 2 up. Love to see him sit back a little bit and let the game come to them on defense.
Matthews will take a pull from top right.
And they haven't
Perkins.
Bedford hasn't even really had a chance to get into their settled offense yet. I mean, those last 3, the 2 goals in that shot have just been pretty quick.
Backup here was ruled in favor of the Astros, so the Bulldogs not doing a great job of chasing that out. And here's Brendan Carney, who will clear things out for Pinkerton.
And we see on this clear, as we've talked about in the ride from Bedford, we have 3 pulls above the 30-yard line for Bedford. So really ratcheting up the pressure, daring the goalie to make the right pass.
And that 10-man pressuring heavily. Here's Cole Summers. He fires ahead. Finds a teammate, Santo Massimo. And now the Astros settle things down. Erickson. Back into their circle offense. Fire it behind. Here's Scala. Near side, Jeff Gormandy.
Still open on offense. No guys in the crease for Pinkerton.
Yeah, and what that does is it actually allows Bedford a lot of in-the-middle help coming from the crease, and so they're getting a little bit anxious, but they have the backup because they're not having to occupy a player right in the crease. They can slide from there and provide a lot of help defense quickly.
And on the defensive standpoint, Jay, you tell me, but if they don't have to swivel their head following some guy around, it's a lot easier.
Ooh, good hit there as a streaking cutter through. Matt Gormandy had a little bit of room and Helton shut it down quickly. Good body-to-body collision causes the turnover.
Yeah, you're right, Todd. They can actually ball watch a little bit, but that becomes a little bit of the trouble if Pinkerton were to switch there.
Oof. Wow. Good physical contact there. Bulldogs come out of it unscathed. The ball finally gets scooped up. Looks like Matthews will get it, and now Coach Bordeaux will take a timeout to save the possession. 2:51 left here in the first quarter. Hot start by the Bulldogs was answered quickly by Adam Scala. Your score is 2-1. Bedford leads by a slim margin.
Yeah, and we talked about it right at the beginning. Physical play. I think at the last game, Bedford really threw some bodies around and intimidated Pinkerton, and clearly something that Coach Gaudreau was not happy with and wanted to change. And we see after this timeout, Pinkerton seeing a little bit of a victory, stalling the tough Bedford offense.
Helton had a nice physical check there, body to body right above the crease, and then we saw another one, this time by the Pinkerton Astros. I didn't catch the number, but it was Kevin Mastro da Casa taking a check from his left side to pop that ball loose and cause that ensuing scramble.
I think maybe both teams, or I hope at this point, both teams have sort of gotten the jitters out. Seems like couple errant passes on both sides. A little slow start to the offense for Pinkerton, at least is how it looks from our vantage point. But I got to expect at some point both teams are going to have to let their athletes take over and their players who are very skilled take over and sort of ramp this game up a notch.
It's state semifinal too, right? The kids have got to be feeling those butterflies. I'm sure you felt them at crucial games in your career. What did you do to calm yourself before a game like this, Todd?
Corey, I still get butterflies for our,
I love it.
Our over 40 team. Come on now.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't know what I did. I was sort of in a little bit of a zone personally. I didn't, for the one time or a few times in my life, I didn't really talk much. But yeah, I just went into a little bit of a zone on myself before games, and I guess that's how I dealt with it.
Kaliza takes a shot from that top right. Glances off the net. Followed out behind by Purnell. Again, the Pinkerton Astros in this zone defense here. Helton tries to get the wheel. Pass goes astray. Nice job on that far sideline by Derek Kaliza chasing down the ground ball.
I wonder if the Pinkerton watched that Bedford-Dover game and said, hey, if we can run
play. I'm a lot better when I don't think.
Quintiliano's shot right here, saved by Kahn.
Smoking like a true defenseman.
You got it. Big dumb animals.
The Bulldogs
second shot, I think. Sorry, Corey. Second or third shot that Pinkerton has had, in my opinion, which was in good position and just fired it basically at the goalie's knees, where you want to try to get it up or on the ground, but good time and space, just couldn't convert.
Not doing enough with those opportunities, and now the Bulldogs back into their settled half-field offense. It's a 3-3 zone defense here by the Astros. Matthews tries to pull, feeds inside, he misses his mark. It goes behind and out of bounds, and the Astros will have possession with 48 seconds left here in this first quarter. The Bulldogs lead 3-1.
Yeah, that's a tough one not to get a shot on, but you don't hate it because they're trying to pick apart this zone, find the creases, and Purnell was open, a little bit higher of a pass, and I think Purnell could have gotten that and had a doorstep shot.
The Bulldogs again pull Ethan Kahn out of the goal, apply pressure all over the field, and it leads to a turnover as Perkins was looking for Matt Gormandy on that far sideline and passing just off the mark.
And we look at that pass, pressure, that was an open pass from the goalie to the attackman, and it was bobbled, and that's what pressure does. It gets in your head a little bit and makes the easy things hard.
And that 10-man, I mean, that's a compressed 10-man, as Perkins is outside of the restraining box, and Ethan Kahn is outside of his restraining box. So there are 20 guys in between the 30-yard lines on this lacrosse field. That's really a condensed area.
Yeah, it really is like that New Jersey Devils neutral zone trap. Like, everybody's in there. But Pinkerton beat it once. They would have beaten it there twice. They're moving in the right places, but you got to make that pass.
Kaliza tries to get free in the middle, scores! Bounce shot. Fed from behind by Luke Purnell, and Kaliza extends the lead to 4-1.
Excellent recognition there of where his defender was to take a little jab step, curl right around him. As you can see here on the replay, little jab step, curls right around, gets his hands free, right down the, basically right in the slot, to use another hockey term. Great play there.
Beautiful placement on that shot. Bouncer, offside hip, tough to catch up to for Owen Perkins in cage for the Astros. 2 seconds left here in the first quarter. The faceoff is won by the Astros, but it is meaningless as that horn sounds at the end of the first quarter. The Bulldogs lead 4-1 after one.
I wonder here, it's only 4-1. It's probably at least in the games we've done as of recent, probably the closest Bedford has had in terms of a contender. But it just doesn't look like, to me, like Pinkerton's pressing enough. If it keeps up this pace, I think Bedford's fine with it.
Yeah, I'd agree. And it feels like the shots are somewhat even, but the difference is clearly 4 have gone in for Bedford and 1 for Pinkerton. And this late in the season, that's where you need your shooters to be able to pick the corners, and Bedford has been able to do it. I think the other part as well is that we've got a Pinkerton team that believes. That's what's fun about this time of year, is you got to believe, you got to stick in it, and they're making it a game really on a lot of energy. I do like their defensive set. I expect Bedford to react to that zone, and let's see what they can do.
Again, this is the state semifinal, Division I NHIAA competition. In the first game of the evening that was significantly delayed by torrential downpours, lightning, terrible weather, the Bishop Girton Cardinals prevailed over the Exeter Bluehawks. That final score was 12-4. We caught the tail end of that on the way in, significantly delaying their game as well as this game. However, BG took care of business as the number 2 seed over the 3 seed Exeter Bluehawks. Winner here tonight will face Bishop Girton on Saturday evening, June 8th at 5 p.m. right here at Eustace Field, Exeter High School Bill Ball Stadium for all the marbles. Bishop Girton again back there for, I don't know, the 87th time? That might be a record or something.
So it's close. I think you were close.
Yeah. And the contender will have their work cut out for them. Again, the Bulldogs faced Bishop Girton earlier this year. Took them to double overtime, unfortunately falling 12-11, I believe was the final score in that regular season matchup. They hope to face off and potentially seek revenge on Saturday evening, but they have some work to do. 3 more quarters here. We're set to go. In the second,
looked like Bedford went early.
Yeah, it sure did. It looked like Riccio jumped the whistle, but they gave him another shot there. Riccio pulls it back. Scoops it out wide, and now Helton scoops up the loose ball, and he'll settle things down.
Yeah, nice work by the freshman there, sticking on it, staying down, backhand down, as you can tell all the young little laxers there. And he didn't pick up the ball, but he was able to scoot it out, and Helton picked it up.
And now Dylan Riccio stays to that far sideline. They're going to try to keep Dylan Stingle on the field, the face-off specialist, and have him play some defense as they make some substitutions through midfield. I really appreciate this more complex substitution pattern that Coach Bordeaux has brought to the Bulldogs team here. And now you see Riccio sprint to that half field. Master DaCosta's got the edge. They have numbers if they want it. Matthews ignores it, fires, and saving that one is Owen Perkins. Caught a piece on that shot on the run by Matthews.
And here we see again Pinkerton throwing their short stick back behind on Purnell and trying to string the middle with another short stick. So for those watching, what they're trying to do is hide their short sticks, and because they want to extend out with the long sticks and get hands on those shooters.
So those long sticks are on these 4 corner pieces in this 3 stacked zone defense. They'll stretch out as much as possible. Kaliza couldn't find it and then does and scoops up the loose ball. Nice awareness there for the senior attackman. He'll settle things down. The Astros pack back in. And now Purnell will look to dissect from behind.
Couple errant passes by Bedford, and we've talked about that in the past, but I think also, I probably jinxed us there, but I wonder how much, Todd, maybe you can talk about it from an offensive guy, how much your sticks into this type of weather can get a little bit off and tense up a little bit in the pressure, creating some of those bad passes.
Yeah, I think maybe in our day, the pockets would sag about. Now they're, who knows, whatever they're using, it doesn't seem to be happening as much, but if anything, it is throwing down, there's no question. It's a little bit heavier, it's got a little weight on it, and it is probably throwing down. There's no question about it.
And Purnell gets caught high of goal line extended as Perkins rounds the corner there and earns a possession for the Astros. They fed Kaliza inside. He kept his stick out and away, got a shot off, but missed the cage. And the Astros back it up.
The way to combat that, Jay, is basically the thing you don't want to do is you want to put some zip on it.
As Sheridan picks off the clearing attempt and goes in and scores. Puts it out to a Bulldogs 5-1 lead, and that's what that 10-man ride does. Causes those turnovers and gives transition opportunities.
Yeah, love to see it too. A defender getting able to cash in the theft and a really strong overhand bounce shot. That's one of those back in our day type of calls. You love to see it.
Right.
And just to be clear, back in your day, Todd, this was like catgut in the string, something like that, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, for sure. Sinew, I believe it was
Sinew,
Sinew.
Yeah.
Still played with wooden sticks and rocks as a ball, right?
Yeah. What I was going to say there, though, and I don't know if it's affecting the goalie stick, is that was a little bit of a popcorn pass. But when it's wet, as an offensive guy, you got to be ready to sling it and put some extra mustard on it. And the question is, nerve-wise or not wanting to turn it over, trying to keep possession, you got to put the mustard. You end up with a little ketchup, and you throw it, you throw it out of bounds, or you bounce it at a guy's feet. Certainly, that pass was one that Pinkerton would like to have back right there.
That's just a big, strong athlete, too, in Kevin Sheridan. He's muscling out the intended receiver of that ball, gets his stick on it, sure-handedly makes the catch, and then outruns everybody to the goal.
Yeah, I love it, too. He had, I think it was Purnell standing next to the goalie, and just Sheridan had nothing to do with that. He was scoring that.
Come on, reward the big defenseman.
You got it.
We've always been taught, or at least I've always been taught, when you're in a clear, you got to run to the ball carrier. Obviously, if you're streaking down the field like a deep football pass, it's one thing, but you run to the ball. And right now, Pinkerton is just not sending enough guys in places inside and around the 10-man ride to get the ball. They need to send one guy streak into the ball and have a punt return clear, like we've talked about the past couple broadcasts. Just get a guy to the ball. Once he gets the ball and he starts running, the 10-man ride breaks down pretty much almost instantaneously at that point.
A lot of streaking back in your day, but here we are facing off. With 9:33 left in the first half, the Bulldogs ahead 5-1. The Astros flinch on the face-off, so Helton will pick it up and start things off for the Bulldogs.
Everybody's coming. So, Corey, before we get out of this, you don't have to answer now, but you got to tell us about your pregame ritual back there at Kenyon.
Fair enough. Helton settles things down. Part of that settling those butterflies is pregame ritual, right? You have a routine. You do things pretty much the same way each time. Here, streaking through the middle, Todd, was Brody Helton catching a pass in traffic. His shot goes wide. But for me, it was routine. It was putting the same shoe on first, putting the same uniform on the same way, the pads, the gloves, getting yourself mentally prepared. In routine, you find comfort.
So you mean OCD?
Yeah.
Okay,
Other people call it OCD. I just called it routine.
They have medication for that now.
Yeah, of course. Matthews down the right side. His shot from the alley goes wide, backed up behind by Purnell.
I'll tell you what, Matthews as a sophomore, he can dodge downhill with both hands, as I've said many a times. Any coach, college, high school, doesn't matter. If you can dodge downhill both hands, you're going to be playing for a long time in this game.
Barrett drives hard from behind. Lefty scoops it and dunks it over Perkins. And the Bulldogs go up 6-1.
Yeah, and there's an example of Barrett, the freshman. He was pulling the short stick again, not necessarily because it was him, but because he was behind. And sometimes you can fight, strength to strength, meaning Bedford's middies going against the long poles, but there it is. Barrett turning the corner, being able to lower his shoulder, and pretty easy goal for a seasoned freshman that Barrett is now.
Not sure if you saw it there on that replay, though, but he dipped his shoulder at a crucial time and got leverage, got his hands free, and was able to finish up high. The Astros win the ensuing face-off, but then throw it out of bounds. They missed the pass to Adam Scala.
We've talked about Corey in a couple of broadcasts putting a short stick behind to cover a shifty attackman. In that case, I think the short stick defender, he's just not used to that move. Like you said, the little shoulder dip, almost bodying him up like he's posting up in basketball, and it was just literally an easy little. He almost placed it in the net.
Great check there by Zach Baker. Got the ball on the carpet, but it was batted out of bounds quickly, so Gaffney will start again. Wow, and we get the pinwheel. Baker again. Little takeaway check on the trail. Now both teams scrambling for that. It'll go the Astros' way on that far sideline. Love to see those checks, right, Jay?
Oh, absolutely. Warms your heart.
Little trail check. He timed it perfectly. We call it a pinwheel for obvious reasons.
What an amazing job by the offender there to make his stick do that in the air while it was getting checked.
And now the cheaper. Kerr is there. Bat sticks away, comes up with the ground ball. Nice fake to give himself some time, and now Ethan Kahn will run the break.
Those clears aren't going to get it done tonight against Bedford. If you can't be tossing the ball away. You need possessions if you're Pinkerton down 6-1 heading into halfway to halftime, I guess, or a quarter way to halftime left. But
now into transition. Gaffney, Barrett hits the post. Gaffney now. Save. Perkins gets a piece. Backed up behind by Purnell. On those clears, at what point do you encourage Owen Perkins to take a shot? As Purnell rounds the corner and scores.
Yeah, nice move there by Purnell against picking on the shorty that was assigned to him. But going back to your question, Corey, there is these passes that Perkins is throwing, they have a lot of hope attached to him, and it's not going to do it. But as we see Purnell really body in, take control of that collision, bounce off number 19, and again, one-on-one with the goalie, was able to bury it.
Tough one there for Alec Henry on defense. Great bull dodge by Purnell. Just being physical, right? Absorbing the contact, actually delivering the contact as the attackman. In a legal way, of course, wasn't a ward there. He's not pushing out his elbows, pushing sticks away from himself, just running through the check and giving himself some space.
And the only appropriate thing for Purnell to say after that hit is weight room.
I mean, yeah, if you want to get a little lippy.
It can be under your breath.
Maybe under your breath. Maybe to your teammate.
Mm-hmm. I can't quite tell yet, but it could be the time, and maybe they did it, which is not going to stop Matthews. But if Gaudreau and Pedley have moved to just a straight man-to-man defense, they did not look like on that possession, but we'll see as they get closer in 6-on-6 if they stick to it.
Bulldogs, again, just absolute animals on this clear attempt. They ride the heck out of it and turn the ball over. And we get a timeout by Coach Bordeaux as soon as Kerr picks it up to save that possession. 6:23 left in the first half. The Bulldogs ahead 7-1.
Yeah, and it's just such a huge momentum changer. We talk about face-offs, being able to win those and getting momentum. If you get a save and you work real hard on defense and you cannot advance the ball past midfield, that is demoralizing. That's what we see Bedford really winning on, is those hustle plays. Signature rides all year have gotten them up 7-1.
It is the absolute pits when you turn the ball over on a ride. There is no question about it. The defensemen are upset at themselves. The middies are got to go play back to playing defense. The attackmen don't get a possession, and the goalie's thinking to himself, we were just here 2 seconds ago. The whole team, it's just the Bedford has figured out a way to run this ride and just take possessions away from other teams.
Jay, you mentioned it on, I think it was the last broadcast too. The ride is not about skill, it's about hustle.
Yeah.
And these Bedford Bulldogs are hustling their tails off. They're trying to get that ball back in every situation, and that pays off.
Tough because Bulldogs generally not known for big tails, very small tails.
Usually they're docked closely after birth, so yeah, it's a little odd.
Experts in many things here in the booth.
And as I've also been dubbed many a time Mr. Hustle, it was me who brought up that hustle.
Charlie Hustle?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, wow. and again, credit to the Bedford team, because not only are they hustling, but the substitutions and the understanding of the phase where the substitutions are getting those long poles up to the midfield immediately, and it's making the decision-making process for the defenders extremely easy. You just play the man in front of you and go hard.
Baker comes up with a great takeaway check here. Got across another pinwheel, and the Astros get it going the other way. Kerr tries to go hard on Richard Wong.
We talked about this last broadcast, but the 10-man ride on top of being, just about hustle, the Bedford guys believe that it's going to work. And when it works, it builds for the next time, and then it works again, and it builds on top of that. Kudos to Coach Boudreau for getting them to do it, getting them to believe, and once it works, it really is a game changer.
You created a super coach.
What did I say?
Boudreau.
Oh, yeah. I was just combining them. Yeah, that's all right.
Like Thundercats combining powers.
Yeah, right.
We tick down to 5 minutes left here in the first half. And the Astros back into their settled offense for the first time in quite some time here in the second quarter.
Yeah, and as we see that, we see Bedford sticking with the man-to-man, but they're extended out. Brian Riccio pestering the midfielder. Let's see, James Erickson. Erickson was doing a lot of backpedaling there with the ball.
Pass here is tipped, I believe, by Sheridan. Deflects out of bounds, so the Astros will have another chance. They've abandoned their circle offense here. They're going to ISO from behind. Here's Matt Gormandy looking to go on Sheridan. Gets a step, rounds the corner, but that ball pops out.
Was there a check there? I couldn't quite see. Did he take it away?
Yeah, he may have one less working elbow after that check from Sheridan.
That's why they wear the pads.
The Astros get the loose ball, settle things back down. Nice quickness there from Matt Gormandy from behind, though. And a popcorn shot here is eaten up. Erickson puts it right in Kahn's stick, and now the Bulldogs are back in transition, and they have numbers. Matthews, Kaliza, down to Purnell. Purnell back to the middle. Matthews picks the far side. Textbook fast break by the Bulldogs offense, and they go up 8-1.
Yeah, very nice fast break. So for you lacrosse heads out there, that was actually an early pass. They call it early. So you see Matthews, before he was defended, was able to get the ball around, and it gives actually him time to get into that crease. Wide open, streaking down the middle. Nice play.
Matthews second on the game. Purnell will pick up the assist. He has 1 and 2. 8-1 is your score. 4:17 left in the first half. Riccio scoops it up, gets mauled right at the face-off X. Durso gets it in his stick. It pops out, and we'll have a procedure.
Yeah, that's going to be Bedford's ball. I think the defender stepped over for Pinkerton. Stepped out of the box, before possession.
Sam Barrett picks it up for the Bulldogs. Actually, they gave it to Gaffney up top, and now Barrett will have it. He's defended behind by Connors. Again, a short stick defending the attackman. They look to go early, and a nice slide gets Barrett on the ground and the ball on the ground. You get a push from behind on Pinkerton, so the Bedford Bulldogs will scoop this up.
We see Pinkerton sliding a lot earlier than they were previously on those dodges from behind.
You know, I can imagine they're getting a little salty. They're down 8-1. They want to do something about it. This is a state semifinal. They don't want to be embarrassed. How are they going to react? Helton gets a step. Shot goes high. Barrett will back it up behind. 3:26 to go in the first half.
As Quint Kesnick would say, one more step to greatness. If you took one more step there, bounced it on the ground, you'd have another goal. Great effort getting to the cage. Keep doing that. He'll be fine.
James Caruso going early from these slides here. So whoever he's guarding is going to have to look to follow that slide. Save here by Perkins. Barrett couldn't get a good shot off. Nicely defended. Pass through the middle. Here's Brendan Carney trying to run the break. Beautiful pick there by Cotnoir, though. He'll run back through midfield. Pass is short to Barrett, but he'll scoop it up and settle. Connors still defends him. Cotnoir looking to get into the break there with the pole. But Barrett said, let's settle things down here a little bit with 2.5 left in the first half.
And here we see a little bit of a change. We see man-to-man from Pinkerton with the invert, with their short sticks down, guarding Barrett and Purnell, if I can see it right.
Yeah, trying to take away the midfield with their long poles. But, you know, Bedford they got players everywhere.
Matthews tries to round that crease on that far side. One-handed pass to Barrett. Can't finish, but nice job to get at least one hand free and get that pass off.
Yeah, really nice control there. We see, for those who watch the Pro Lacrosse League, PLL, that's a Ryder Guernsey type of move with the one hand. Very effective from Barrett.
Feet inside, finish, goal. Purnell to Barrett. Purnell's third assist. Barrett's second goal. 9-1 is your score. The Bulldogs rolling here in the first half.
I'm not sure who it was on defense for Pinkerton, but you want to be obviously on the other side of that. I guess what was that 2 slide? You got to be down there a little quicker. Can't let the guy just follow that slide and have an easy dunk into the net.
That's the 2 slide. If you're going to slide from that crease, that top far side midfielder, maybe the backside defenseman, either or, somebody's got to be there to help out the sliding defender. Here's Parker O'Toole on the face-off now. He gets a run. Wins one to himself and now settles. Finds Helton. Helton will have a tour of the offensive end. Feeds inside. Kaliza. Shot score. Offside on Perkins. And the Bulldogs are in double digits in this first half.
Yeah, really nice movement. When things are going great, one pass and a goal, but there we see the Bulldogs having a little bit more patience. And, yeah, look at Helton just streaking, basically. There it is again, and Kaliza able to put it through, and no pressure on the hands again. Wide open unload from 12 yards out.
10 yards out, yeah. 10 yards out with a couple guys in the middle, maybe a little bit of a screen, pick a corner. You can't ask for much more in the game of lacrosse to get opportunities like that. Well done by Bedford.
A lot of streaking in this first half. 2 goals by Helton, 2 goals by Barrett, 2 goals by Matthews, 2 goals by Kaliza, 1 each for Purnell and Sheridan. And they lead 10-1. The lone goal for the Astros coming from Adam Scala way back in the first quarter.
You think they're going to the quad, Corey?
Possibly. Everybody's coming. Near side, the Astros find a loose ball, and they finally get another opportunity on offense here. Scala. Quintiliani. He'll go down the right alley. Looking to drive now. Here's Cole Summers. Back up tap to Scala. Under a minute to go in the first half. Quintiliani. He'll look to ISO here. Midfield has drawn a short stick. Cabri. Slide comes quickly at Tenrishon. Nice check on the pass. Still has enough to find Matt Gormandy. He's checked by Riccio. Drives hard, finds this teammate in the middle, but they can't make the connection. And now Richard Wong shakes it out on the far sideline, but not fast enough. Dylan Soden will pick it up for the Bulldogs with 13 seconds to go in this first half.
Yeah, we see a pretty nice set from Pinkerton. They were able to move, get some people beat one-on-one, and had a nice, decent opportunity, but just Bedford's cramming in the center because everybody can see what's going on given Pinkerton's spread. A little bit too easy for Bedford defense.
Bit of a scramble there at the end of the second quarter. No matter, though, as the Bulldogs have cruised throughout this first half. 10-1 is your halftime score. We'll take a break and join you on the other side for Division I state semifinal action here from Bilbao Stadium at Exeter High School. Welcome back to Exeter High School, Bilbao Stadium, Eustace Field. I'm Corey Munster-Tiger with the BCTV crew. The Bedford Bulldogs stormed through that first half. They lead the Pinkerton Astros 10-1 in this state semifinal. Jay, adjustments that you might anticipate in this second half from both teams?
Yeah, if you're Pinkerton, maybe you're waiting a little bit of a weather delay. May not come, but other than that, I think Pinkerton absolutely. Excuse me. There's a lot of steps walking up here. I'm tired. Pinkerton absolutely
all that streaking
has to dominate at the face-off X to tilt the field a little bit in their favor to get back in this game.
Failed to advance here, so they turn it over in that first possession despite the face-off win. Todd, adjustments that you might expect from either team?
Yeah, I don't expect much adjustments from Bedford. I think what they're doing is what they should be doing. Pinkerton, I think, has got to dodge from X. They've had a little success, and they got to figure out how to beat that 10-man ride. If they can't, nothing's going to matter, even if they score goals or play well on defense. If they can't clear the ball, it's not going to make a difference.
Perkins comes up with an early save here on Barrett. Matthews got into trouble but found Barrett's stick here on that low left goal line extended area. Barrett tries to round the corner, misses the cage.
You know, I think that was an example with Barrett. Was almost too wide open. Could have probably took a pump fake, 1 or 2 fakes, and buried it, but was surprised to have that much room and space.
Purnell now behind. He's harassed by Caruso. Gets inside. Kaliza, a nice catch in traffic, but the backhander sails high and wide. Barrett with the backup behind. The Astros in their man-to-man defense. Again, the short stick on Barrett. The attackman from behind, Helton, draws a pole. Drives into that right alley. Save. Perkins. Shot on the run. Bulldogs closest to it when it went out, where it went out, so they get possession. Go ahead, Todd.
Just good hands in space there from Helton. You know, he's had no problem. Same with Matthews, except maybe right here. That's the first time they've had trouble getting downhill on the defender. Every other time it's been with relative ease.
Carney did a great job getting in hands. Got the ball out of Matthews' stick. Shot here by Gaffney, sails wide. Long offensive possession here for the Bulldogs.
I was just going to say, couple shots and getting the ball, and they're a minute and a half in and still going.
Barrett draws the double. Gaffney with some space. It gets shut down quickly. Now, shot here by Helton, sails wide.
Yeah, it's been a good possession offensively for those young lacrosse players back there. You look at the Bedford players, a lot of different shots, different angles. We saw Kaliza go over his back shoulder. Those are all things you have to do when you're being contested, and Bedford's doing a great job getting hands-free however they can to get shots.
Gaffney now fires one, and I will say on this possession, they have backed up these shots well. There were probably 2 or 3 opportunities where Perkins was able to round his near side pipe and chase the ball out, earning possession for an Astros clear. In this case, both Barrett and Purnell
at some point
have had some distance and have backed the ball up nicely.
At some point, Corey and Jay, Pinkerton's going to have to defend the 10 yards in front of the cage. I mean, Bedford is at their will, getting to the 10 yards out right in front of the cage, and nobody's coming to help.
And finally, Helton breaks through. He's jumping shot, bouncer near side beats Perkins, and Helton has the Hattie. The Bulldogs go up 11-1.
Yeah, you're right, Todd. It's really just you see Helton in this replay lining up the long stick. The pick comes through. Doesn't even really need it, to be honest. Once he sees that switch to the short stick, that's when he gets a green light and says hands are going to be free. The jump shot, actually, a lot of coaches would say don't do that, but it allowed him to free the hands, and he's a tough, hard shooter, so was able to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, and that one, I mean, it's a little odd, but the one that went in was probably the most contested one in that whole possession. That was the tightest one shot, that was defended, and it still went in. But, you do that 6 times in a row, the defense is breaking down, they're getting a little tired.
And the Bulldogs win the face-off and go right back into the offensive end. Matthews settles. Ball pops out, but he scoops it up quickly. Now, Jay, Todd, why do coaches tell them not to jump on a shot?
Well, I think, in my opinion, there's 2 things. If you got a defender on you, they're going to be able to more easily get you off of your angle and disrupt your shot. But if you just think about pure power, where we see a nice shot there, you're really losing the strong legs and foundation if you're off the air, but it's all arms, as we see there with Matthews throwing one through the hole.
I think the benefit of getting in the air is sometimes you can contort your body a little bit in an angle that you're running maybe away from, which was kind of like right there. He's basically jumping in the air because his momentum would have taken him towards the sideline, but he was able to sort of turn his body in the air and rip his hips and hands around to get a good shot off. It's generally why you do it, or obviously if you're dodging downhill, but you're right. I mean, if someone jumps in the air, if you can defend them, you push them to the hips and they're falling over.
Violation by Bedford on the face-off. The Astros go down and fire one. Stingle's shot goes wide left. They back it out behind.
And just to finish that out, the other thing, Tristan Kerr with a really nice takeaway. I'll get back to that in a second as we see Bedford swarm the ball.
Up top, Quintiliani. Now here's Erickson. Scala back to Erickson. Quintiliani. Right alley save, Kahn. Kahn's come up with some good saves. He hasn't really been tested too hard, but he has been steady back there, making those saves down low when he needed to. No easy ones so far.
Yeah, he's been really calm, too. A lot of body shots, which don't feel good, I'm sure. However, he's not guessing, he's not jumping, he's staying home and making some relatively easy saves.
Matthews shot here, stoned by Perkins. Deep outlet pass, picked off by Henryshawn. He'll trot it over.
Yeah, Corey, we talked about these tough rides by Bedford, creating intensity and creating mistakes. Right there is a complete giveaway by the goalie. A little bit out of desperation. No, he can't run his normal ladder up, the passing ladder up from the cage, and threw it away to Henderson. Easy takeaway for Bedford.
I don't have the official count because I think Corey's in charge of keeping statistics during the game, but that's got to have been the 5th, 6th, 7th turnover on a ride, and we're only just over halfway through.
Those are unofficial statistics, of course. Gaffney now pulls out his defender. Jeff Gormandy, junior midfielder. Gaffney gets a step, draws the double, runs through it. Barrett right back to him. Now far side. Helton looks to run through a couple of defenders, but he'll pull it out. Helton dodges. Takeaway check nicely by Zach Baker. Helton is told to have a seat, and the Astros come away with the loose ball. Outlet pass by Perkins finds the mark. This time here's Henry, but they missed the next pass. Henderson. Kaliza.
Another turnover.
And the Bulldogs will settle. Those turnovers are adding up. And now the shot here sails wide.
If you're not used to it or you're not ready for it, generally in the middle of the field you should have a few paces to catch the ball and move and feel a little bit comfortable in general. But when Bedford's playing this tight on their 10-man ride and this confident in it, they have, there's nowhere where the Pinkerton guys can go with the ball, and which is instantly creating turnovers.
Good stick work there by Kerr. Tries the chase. He'll get a trip. Kahn comes up with a save, but the Bulldogs will go on the man down as Kerr's trail check caught the foot of Erickson. Excuse me, that's not Erickson, that's Cody Santomassimo. And we'll have our first man-up opportunity for the Astros. 5:36 to go in the third quarter. The Bulldogs lead 12-1.
Yeah, a bit unlucky for Kerr there. He was able to keep the ball on the offensive side as those long poles cannot go over nor can the ball. But what it ended up doing, instead of going out of bounds, it created an on-man rush. Sorry, I'm using hockey terms here. We're in New England. But Kerr was on the back foot, and all he could do to catch up was come down hard, and unfortunately caught a little bit of leg and is now in the box.
Go in the box and feel shame, young man. Quintiliani's shot goes wide. It's Barrett serving the penalty. It's kind of odd, as Kerr was the one that tripped, right? Very strange. Either way, flag was thrown. They call it on Barrett. He's got a knee in the box. And the Bulldogs defense extending out here. This is what you do when you have athletic poles. Put a little pressure on the man up, see what you can do to try to cause a turnover. Erickson. Quintiliani. Shot. Top left, misses the mark. That was Matt Gormandy.
If that is the wrong defender in the box, which I believe it is, that is a huge bonus for Bedford to keep their starting defenders all out on the field.
Dylan Soden soaks up a shot there.
That is a soak.
Right.
Probably in an awkward area. Riccio gets the ground ball. And now we have a failure to advance. Perhaps Kahn went out and in.
He was in the 4 seconds in the crease. They called on that, Corey.
That was a very short 4 seconds. Erickson, far side, Quintiliani, Gormandy, lefty, won't take the shot. Stepping in, Quintiliani, bounce shot wide.
Yeah, and from my experience, too, I like to see Bedford being active, rotating quickly. Even that man down, it almost felt like they were even strength. And sometimes when you're playing defense, you can get complacent. And being able to move those feet kind of feels like you're doing something. And we saw Bedford and continue to see Bedford with Kahn push off a lot of these shots and keep the scoreboard relatively clean.
The Astros miss a pass, but they chase down that loose ball. Here's Erickson. Ticking down to 4 minutes in the third quarter. Shot, Scala, save, Kahn.
good move to get himself hands-free. I'm sure one he would like to have picked a corner on, but had some pressure, but a great save nonetheless, thwarting a good take by Pinkerton.
Thwarting,
Yep,
for
that's
sure.
right.
Soden clears it out. J.J. Gaffney now for the Bedford Bulldogs. 12-1 is your score, 3.5 to go in the third quarter. The Bulldogs comfortably ahead in this state semifinal. Over the Astros, a young squad, the Astros. Kaliza. Behind for Barrett. Barrett guarded by the shorty, Ronan Connors. Little two-man game. Purnell, inside roll, gets some room, falling down. Save, beautiful save by Perkins.
Yeah,
His
great.
outlet pass, though, goes astray. Somehow takes a bounce right into Zach Baker's stick, and now he throws one away. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, sorry, just great alertness from Purnell. Did everything right except for the finish, but we see a lot of this two-man game going on between Barrett and Purnell. I think they can really exploit that as it comes into the last 14, 15 minutes of this game.
Coach Bordeaux sees his senior defenseman Spencer Henrichon streaking a lot of that tonight, down that far sideline into the offensive area, decides to take a timeout to preserve the possession. 2:48 to go in the third quarter, 12-1. The Bulldogs rolling.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing that we talked about at the beginning of the half is some of the adjustments that have needed to be made. You know, it looks like Pinkerton is changed their offensive scheme up, which at the beginning just looked like maybe to eat some clock and stem the tide, and now they're pushing a little bit. But regardless, it's working to get a couple shots off, but it doesn't matter if the ball doesn't go in the net. I think they have to push here on every level if they have a chance of getting back in this one.
We welcome everybody in on BCTV tonight, HD 1072, also on Channel 8. We will look to bring you the state finals on Saturday evening. Again, still a quarter and 2:48 left, but the Bulldogs look like they will be advancing to that state final on Saturday, June 8th. 5 p.m. is face-off. We will look to bring you that game as well on Channel 8 and HD 1072.
As we talked about last week, or last broadcast, Corey, if you would like to pen it in tonight, you could, because you've now got yourself an erasable pen.
Mm-hmm. Here it is. I will erasable pen it in right now as the boys will look to take on Bishop Girton on Saturday evening. They beat Exeter 12-4 in the other semifinal earlier this evening, a game that was delayed by weather issues. That's why we started here at about 8:30, 8:40 for this second game. So about an hour and a half delay or so. We're back ready for action. 2:48 to go, third quarter.
And Corey, I just got to ask, did I hear we're on the AM radio at this point?
We would be on FM radio,
Okay.
WBNH 105.1. We'll be on the radio live on Saturday, but it will be a delayed broadcast on 1072. So we will not have that game live, but you will be able to see it later. We'll record it. And again, those sweet dulcet tones of Jay Abendroth.
I was going to say, it's been a long time since I've been modulated in amplitude.
Saved by Perkins.
You got a face for radio, though.
That's right.
Perkins will have a go. Picked off by Durso in the defensive end. Fielded that sky ball from Perkins, and now he clears it out. Helton.
They're riding for Bedford right now. They're playing with extreme confidence on it. It's almost like a cat playing with a little toy, just batting it around. Hey, yeah, you can move over there, but I'm going to catch you. You can have that pass, but not this next one. It's just unbelievable. And turning into goals, more importantly, for Bedford.
And here's Helton to Kaliza. Kaliza gets the Hattie. Helton's second assist. Kaliza joins Matthews and Helton with 3 goals apiece. 2 by Barrett, 1 each for Sheridan and Purnell, and the Bulldogs are ahead 13-1, and we're into running time with a 12-goal difference here in the second half. A little shout out to James Riley here. Get a nod of approval on the awareness there. Thank you, James. Riccio wins the face-off for the Bulldogs. It has been a more even face-off battle this evening, as Dylan Stingle has challenged Riccio like few others in Division I high school this year here in New Hampshire. It'll also be a battle on Saturday evening should the Bulldogs advance.
Something I did know, Corey, if Pinkerton was to take this under 12, it would still run. It does not, big word here, oscillate back and forth. It stays running time regardless of how close Pinkerton were to get it.
Is that terminology you remember from your physics class? Oh, wait, no, you never took physics.
As a matter of fact,
making great use of the thesaurus we got you. Fantastic.
Great transition here, and coming up with a save is Kahn. On the doorstep was Cole Summers, and Kahn got a piece of it. It dribbled off the pipe and does not go in. They had run a very nice fast break up to that point, but can't finish.
And I think there's something else to be said as we see a few new Kevin Master-DaCosta out here, and actually Evan Capello, who's had a little bit of an injury. Good to see him back on the field. This will be a great advantage for Bedford as they're able to run through more of their team, create some fresh legs. It is hot out here, folks, so all the rest and rehydration you can do is good, beneficial for those Bedford starters.
Purnell stick side high save by Perkins. Scramble right above the crease. Still loose, and Matthews finally comes away with it. 3-2-1 in this third quarter. Shot gets off before the horn, and Matthews, with his fourth on the game, puts the Bulldogs ahead 14-1 at the third quarter buzzer.
Yeah, tough one for Pinkerton. They really strong defense. I was actually going to laugh when the Purnell got actually when the attackman gets pushed and they go straight forward down onto their knees. You'd wonder where the call was, but to Pinkerton's credit, they pushed hard. Bedford was just able to pick up the trash, and Bennett Matthews did all the work. Really demoralizing for Pinkerton if they had any chance.
Yeah, that could have been the proverbial nail, if you will.
It takes one.
Yeah, I mean, that one was, and again, Matthews just downhill, doesn't matter which hand, and absolutely laces one top corner.
See that replay there as Kahn stifled that fast break by the Astros. Phenomenal save there on Cole Summers, the lefty in tight. Kahn got a piece of it. 12 minutes back on the board. We're ready for the fourth quarter. A little surprising, this score, as the regular season games were not necessarily as lopsided as this game here tonight.
You know, Corey, I think at least in the past couple games that we've broadcast, Bedford is just firing on all cylinders. I mean, if you're playing a 10-man ride this often, you are confident, because there's a lot of times you get one guy who can beat one man with the ball and he can throw it the length. He scores one goal when the goalie's out. You're not running it again, or you're running it sparingly. They're running it all day long. They're not at all scared of anything that can come from it, and they could give up 6 more goals right now on that 10-man ride, and it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of all day long, we hope you listen to Bedford 105.1 all day long on your radio. You'll be able to listen to the state championship on Saturday evening on Bedford 105.1 online. So go to WBNH.bedfordnh.org for the stream link. We also stream on apps like TuneIn, MyTuner, Simple Radio, and Radio Garden. Todd, you can tell your Alexa just to play Bedford 105.1.
I don't have to do that, Corey. It's preset on 105.1.
You still listen to radio in your car. I love it.
Yep, sure do.
I love it.
I heard he and Alexa weren't on speaking terms, though, at this point.
Ooh, uh-oh. Well, how do you communicate with Alexa? That would be a challenge.
It's tough, but...
Ball on the ground on that far sideline. The Bulldogs scrapping for possession. It comes away in a Pinkerton stick. Up top, Erickson. He'll run away from pressure and settle. Scala now with the ball. Scala looks to get back to his left hand. Shoots it to Kahn's stick side high. The lefty makes another save with 11 minutes left in this game.
Yeah, really nice defense there by Soden. And collectively, Pinkerton, when they're fighting for a shot, it's really a fight. It's a lot of moves. It's almost tiring out your defender to try to get one outside shot.
I was just going to say that, Jay. They're just not coming easy. They're getting their hands free and they're getting shots off, but it's just not coming in the normal flow of the game. And, you could make the case that the guy who shot that was just as tired.
Yeah.
10:30 to go in the game. 14-1 is your score. The Bulldogs cruising here. Master da Casa will go one-on-one from the right wing. Gets a step, gets his shoulders by, gets a shot off, and Perkins comes up with a save. We do have a flag down. Looks like Zach Baker will be sent off for unnecessary roughness.
Apologize for that technical difficulty if any of you heard that.
Baker takes a knee in the box. 10:03 to go. That'll be a 1-minute penalty. I believe this is the first man-up opportunity for the Bulldogs this evening.
Yeah, it's been a pretty clean game, to be honest. We have not seen the man-up or man-down on either side very often.
Kaliza, two-man game on that far side with Purnell. They look into the middle for Gaffney. Missed the mark, but Kaliza will chase things down. And Cam Santos is way offside. Couldn't figure out which line was midfield, so they turn it over. Santos is checked in on the defensive end, as has Colby Boyd, and I believe Will Frangelo. As Coach Bordeaux is getting his seldom used players some time here. I say seldom used, they've gotten a good amount of run throughout this season, with a few of these games getting, as I mentioned earlier, somewhat lopsided.
Yeah, credit to Bedford. They've been able to run a lot of different people, almost get ready for next year without losing sight of what they have to do this year. This is all good experience for these young players to get out, feel it under the lights, and play in an incredibly meaningful game.
Here's Erickson, goes down the right alley. Feeds it back. Scala gets by two defenders. Save. Kahn. Loose ball. Gaffney misses the mark as Matthews was out ahead. Little kickball at midfield. Barrett comes away with the Lucy. He'll run away from pressure. Some heavy checks there by Carney, but Barrett absorbs the barrage and is able to settle. Matthews slips by. Kaliza, one more pass. Into the middle. Beautiful ball movement there as Purnell finds Matthews on the doorstep, and it's 15-1.
We talk a lot about the goal of lacrosse is to find the 2-on-1, but as we like to say, lacrosse looks awfully nice when you think it's ping pong, and that's what it was here. Just bing, 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 back and forth, smacked into the net. Well done.
Lefty quick stick for Matthews gives him 5 on the evening. Running clock continues, and it's 15-1. 5 goals for Matthews, 3 for Kaliza, 3 and 2 for Helton, 2 and 2 for Barrett. Purnell, a goal, 4 assists for the junior attacker. We got a wrestling match at midfield here.
Stalemate.
Somewhat unusual situation, and finally the referees will call a clamp hold.
I thought it was jiu-jitsu. I wasn't sure. I couldn't tell.
Here's Jacoby DeJesus for the Bulldogs. Mastro da Casa. Parker Gupta is in at attack. John Purnell in at midfield. So again, some of these names that we haven't seen the rest of the game. Feed behind. Finish check as Mastro da Casa took a pop. And heading to the sideline is Braden Berry after the unnecessary roughness. He's in the box. He'll feel shame for a minute with 6.5 to go. And Power 2 will get a run here for the Bulldogs. Mastro da Casa will bring it in from that left wing. So, boys, as you look ahead to Saturday evening, I think it's probably safe to say the Bulldogs will be in the finals. What are you looking for them to do against the Bishop Girton Cardinals? both in preparation the next couple of days and then as they approach that that final game on Saturday evening?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start out. I would think that you brought it up pretty well, Corey. I mean, we've seen a lot of lopsided games, and so I think there's going to be a little bit of time for them to get ready for the physicality, and playing a team that has the athletes, much like Bedford does, that's going to be a different feeling. Secondly, some of the substitutions and other things they're doing here have been fantastic. I have to think that Coach Cameron and the Bishop Girton team will be ready for it. And then finally, it's the face-off X. That would be probably the one part last time they played that Bishop Girton clearly took over Bedford, and so they're going to have to right that ship, Bedford is, if they're going to have a chance here at a state championship.
I would say, Corey, I think as we see that, maybe a little trip there, yep. Jay, I think you're right on all that. I think even tonight it's a little horses versus ponies here. Just age-wise, size-wise, and that can, Bedford is imposing a little physical will, as we said, just getting to the middle of the field and getting their shots off. But I'll tell you what, if Bedford can control the game through their 10-man ride. Now obviously, Girton and Coach Cameron will be ready for it. I'm sure they've seen it the past couple games. I'm sure they're watching this game. But if they can create as many turnovers or half as many turnovers as they've been creating in the last 2 games that we've had, they got a very good shot to control that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jacoby DeJesus will pick up the push from behind with possession. He'll be in the box for 30 seconds. And the Pinkerton Astros will be on the man up. We see Tyler Caparelli being substituted in on the offensive side as Ian Fletcher comes up with a save, who's substituted in for Kahn in the goal. We're down to 4 minutes to go here in this game. Erickson up top. Penalty is released. Good job by the man-down defense to neutralize that extra man. Ball falls out of Scala's stick on that dodge, and now Santos picks up the loose ball. He rolls away from pressure. Run, young man, get your hands free. His pass to Fletcher. Finds the stick. Fletcher now needs to get it up and out before they run out of time on a failure to advance. Pass all the way across field to Alex Gabri, goes out of bounds. So the Astros turning the tides on the Bedford Bulldogs clear this time as they earn another possession. Here's Gormandy. Looks to go on Frangelo. Nice slide there by the defender Paul Gaudreau. Push from behind on the loose ball as we tick under 3 minutes to go. 15-1. The Bulldogs have been in cruise control since the first quarter. A couple of early goals by Helton, Matthews, Kaliza. And the Bulldogs have not looked back since. Chase for the ground ball here. Richard Wong comes up with it for the Astros. They move it ahead. Shot sails wide of Fletcher and backed up behind.
Good experience too here for Jay, as you were talking about, for Bedford, but Pinkerton obviously I don't think is coming back in this game, but they do got a lot of young guys. Good for them to get run in this game overall. Good position, semifinals. Should bode well for them next year, just for having the experience and playing in games at the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit of a reload year for Pinkerton, but not a rebuild. I think they're going to be fine next year, as we see again the same 4 teams here in the Final Four, and deservedly so. All good years for each of those teams.
They push the tempo, looking for Tyler Caparelli, the senior attacker. But they missed the connection, and the Astros will clear. Again, we'll be bringing you that state championship game on Saturday evening live on the radio, WBNH 105.1. We will also record it, so you will be able to see a replay. 1:18.
Somebody's waking up.
And ticking.
Bedtime.
Oh, bedtime. Is that what that is?
It's time to take out the trash, man.
Is that
10 o'clock on Wednesday evening. You better put those buckets out by the street. Nice move inside here. Matt Gormandy, he beats Fletcher near side high. And that'll be the second goal of the game for the Astros. 15-2. Too little, too late.
I mean, Gormandy, as a sophomore, I'm not saying he was doing it all game, but he's been one of the players that's been really, trying to push for Pinkerton. Again, as a sophomore, good experience to play against some of these, what I would call sequoias on Bedford's D. Finally gets one to drop.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I think for successful athletes and success all around, it's not just the wins that imprint on your mind. Sometimes it's the losses, and so look to see Pinkerton with these kids, going through a tough time, but they'll bounce back. They'll be around next year.
You went with sequoia instead of a redwood. I'm curious about that. I mean, I didn't know we had a horticulturist among us.
Well, it's actually a horticulturalist, but I think. Is it?
Could be a botanist, I would say.
I think botanist is flowers.
Either way, Fletcher comes up with a save right at the buzzer.
Arborist.
He's one.
Arborist. I knew I'd get it. There
It is
Full
arborist.
length. Arborist, horticulturist, whatever it is. They're not Bulldogs. The Bulldogs themselves are advancing to that state final on Saturday evening. Congratulations to Coach Bordeaux and the Bulldogs for taking home victory here. 15-2 is your final score. Fellas, wrap up. Any thoughts before we head out? Todd?
Yeah. I just think Bedford is playing. First of all, they got the horses, right? They got the players. They got the players who can take advantage of what Coach Bordeaux has put in, and they're confident in each other. There is not a guy on that team that doesn't believe right now that the other guy is going to be in the right spot, that the call is right, that what we're doing is right. And I don't care what level you're playing at. When you're playing like that, you are going to be tough to beat.
Jay, thoughts from you?
Yeah, nice win from Bedford, but you gotta ignore this. It will not be 15-2 on Saturday, so somehow you got to find a way to get in the mindset of tough game, knuckle down, one more game until something you're going to be telling your kids about and grandkids about. So nice way to take care of business. Big game coming up on Saturday.
Big game coming up on Saturday is true. We will be right back here at Eustis Field. We'll bring you that live action again on WBNH 105.1 in Bedford. The game will be recorded, so you'll be able to see it on BCTV afterwards. As we wrap up, final score here, 15-2. Bennett Matthews led the way. 5 goals on the evening for Matthews. 3 goals for Derek Kaliza. 3-2 for Brody Helton. 2-2 for Sam Barrett. 1 goal for Kevin Sheridan early on. 1 goal and 4 assists for Luke Purnell. That rounds out the scoring. On the Pinkerton side, goals by Matt Gormandy and Adam Scala marked their only 2 tallies of the evening. And the Bedford Bulldogs advance to the state finals on Saturday evening. Thank you, boys, for joining me this evening. I appreciate your help in the booth. Thank you also to the BCTV crew. We had Bill Jennings on camera, station manager, Graham Puba, Andrew Fenn producing the show this evening. We really appreciate that. Dale Bird back at home in the studio with replays. And Eric here from our Exeter crew providing another camera angle. So thank you very much to all the crew here. Again, have a great night. Congratulations to the Bulldogs on advancing to the state finals.